whispers, and silhouettes. The idea of stealth conjures invisible bombers and ghost ships slicing through radar screens, and the U.S. military has spent decades turning that fantasy into hardware. Stealth isn't just paint and shape. It's a systems game of materials, design, signatures, and sensors working together. What follows is a guided tour of 7 of the most secretive, advanced, and sometimes controversial stealth platforms tied to the U.S. These are the tools that shape strategy long before they appear in headlines, some still in prototype halls, others quietly entering service. B-21 Raider, the next-generation ghost in the sky. Built by Northrop Grumman for the U.S. Air Force, the B-21 is meant to be a long-range, highly survivable penetrating bomber that replaces older stealth bombers and forms the backbone of future strategic strike forces. It's marketed as a 6th-generation platform designed for contested airspace. Afghan National Army +1 The Raider's development has drawn attention not only for its capabilities, but also for the program's size and cost. The aircraft represents a push to combine low observability with modern networking and open system architectures, an attempt to make stealth survivable and upgradable across decades. Fighter Shadows. The F-22 and F-35 families. The F-22 Raptor still symbolizes air dominance, stealth, supercruise, and agility designed for the most contested skies. It was built as an air superiority platform with integrated avionics and signature management. Afghan National Army. The F-35 Lightning II, more ubiquitous and politically visible, is intended as a multi-role stealth fighter that fuses sensor data and electronic warfare tools to survive and fight in contested environments. Recent tests and upgrades keep expanding what the F-35 can carry and target, reinforcing why it's often described as both a stealth plane and a flying sensor node. Wikipedia +1 RQ-170 Sentinel, the spooky little black drone. The RQ-170 is the kind of platform that fuels conspiracy threads, a low observable reconnaissance UAV linked to sensitive intelligence missions. Its mystique ramped up when one was claimed captured by Iran in 2011, an episode that highlighted both the strengths and vulnerabilities of covert aerial systems. Wikipedia. The RQ-170's legend shows how stealth technology on unmanned platforms changes the intelligence game. Long-endurance flights, carefully managed signatures, and the added political fallout when a secret aircraft becomes public. Unmanned carrier stealth. Northrop's X-47B. The X-47B was a demonstrator UCAV, unmanned combat air vehicle, that proved autonomous carrier launches and recoveries and demonstrated low observable designs for naval operations. It didn't become a frontline fleet asset, but its lessons feed next-generation autonomous and low radar signatures for naval air systems. Wikipedia. The X-47B program is important because it bridged stealth and autonomy, showing how unmanned systems might someday slip sensors or weapons into contested areas without a pilot on board. Zumwalt-class destroyers, stealthy ships, unusual silhouette. At sea, stealth takes a different form: shaping, materials, and thermal management. The Zumwalt-class destroyers were designed to have a much smaller radar cross-section than conventional destroyers. So small, naval sources have compared their radar signature to that of a fishing boat. Their tumble-home hull and composite superstructure are part of that effort. Wikipedia +1 Zumwalt's journey has been bumpy. Cost growth, role changes, and debates over armament. But the class remains a high-profile example of large-scale signature reduction being applied to a major surface combatant. Sea-based shadows. The Columbia-class SSBNs, submarines, are the classic stealth weapon. The Columbia-class is the next U.S. ballistic missile submarine intended to carry the sea-based leg of the nuclear triad. It's a program where acoustic quieting and survivability are prioritized above almost everything else, because deterrence depends on a submarine you can't find. U.S. Navy +1 Columbia's long timelines and careful secrecy reflect how critical and technically demanding undersea stealth is. Tiny reductions in noise can mean the difference between a hidden deterrent and a tracked asset to low observable munitions and missiles. Stealth isn't limited to platforms. It extends to weapons and sensors themselves. Modern standoff munitions and cruise missiles leverage low observability, terrain following guidance, and electronic tactics to reduce detectability. Integrating these weapons onto stealth aircraft multiplies effects, letting standoff aircraft hit heavily defended targets while staying low profile. See recent F-35 missile integration testing for a practical example of that approach. Reuters, the combination of stealthy carriers, aircraft, stealthy weapons, missiles, and stealthy sensors makes a layered problem for defenders, reducing the time and angle they have to detect, track, and counter an incoming threat. Why the military doesn't want you to see is partly marketing and partly necessity. Some secrecy is doctrinal. Revealing signatures, sensor placements, or tactics makes defensive counters easier. Some secrecy is programmatic. Costs, schedules, and politics shape when a program surfaces to public view. Yet the public face of stealth programs is often a balancing act. Show enough to reassure lawmakers and allies, but not so much that potential adversaries can craft precise countermeasures. That tension explains redacted fact sheets, delayed imagery, and the occasional leak that sparks fevered commentary. The future of stealth will be less about vanishing completely and more about managing the electromagnetic battlefield. Active deception, networked sensors, electronic warfare, variable signatures, and unmanned swarms will complicate the old idea of invisible platforms that in the end. Stealth remains as much a concept as a technology, a strategic tool for buying time, choice, and access. The 7 systems above represent slices of that concept: bombers, fighters, drones, ships, submarines, and weapons that together change how conflict is shaped long before the first shot is fired.